Well, let's head then to centre court. Another Brit in action. Katie Boulter against Karolína Plíšková. Can she repeat that great win from Eastbourne? Russell Fuller will take us through the early stages.
And for the second round match in a row at Wimbledon, Katie Boulter has the centre court billing. She lost to Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus, not here this year. 6-3 in the deciding set 12 months ago, and now she's trying to knock out the runner-up from last year, Karolína Plíšková, who went down to Ash Barty in that final. And the first game has started competitively. It is deuce on the Karolína Plíšková serve. She is the 6th seed. She's 30 years of age. Czech player, now based in Monte Carlo. Very tall too, at 6'1". Her serve is powerful. She is powerful. She's an excellent grass court player. But you never quite know what you're going to get from Karolína Plíšková from day to day. So it's definitely an opportunity here for Katie Boulter, who stands at 118 in the world, but is slowly clawing her way back into the top 100. She's had a pretty difficult 3 years, but she has a break point here in the opening game of the match, because that's a double fault from Plíšková. Laura Robson and Kim Clijsters will be watching this with us on Centre Court on 5 Live this afternoon. Let's see if this first break point can be taken. Plíšková serving down the tee and missing that first serve. She beat a fellow Czech, Tereza Martincová, over 2 days, 7-6, 7-5 in the first round. Plíšková backhand reply is long from Boulter, so the breakpoint opportunity has disappeared for now, and it's deuce in the opening game.
I don't know about you, Kim, but I see this as an upset of the day. I'm not Mystic Jeff, but I think with the way that Katie's been playing and she's gained so much confidence from that win last week, I think this is an excellent matchup for her. She gets a lot of pace from Plíšková, and Plíšková's not a great mover either, so it just gives Katie that extra bit of time to work with as Plíšková misses another ball long, so Katie's got the second break point. And we've been speaking about Plíšková's serve being such a weapon. At the moment, it's not firing. She served, I think it was 11 double faults in her last round. The first serve percentage has been really off the last couple of tournaments.
Breakpoint number 2 then. After the let, this is a first serve for Karolína Plíšková, serving in front of the roll box. A good serve, this one, well returned by Katie Boulter. Her backhand is in the middle of the court. Good depth from Plíšková, slice backhand from the Czech. Boulter now inside the baseline, hits the forehand, and it's good enough to force the error on the backhand from Plíšková. And there you go, dream start for Katie Boulter here on Centre Court on 5 Live. She's broken last year's runners-up serve in the opening game of the match, Kim Clijsters.
Yes, great start of the match for Katie Boulter. I think it's very, very clear to see what her tactics are. She's every second serve that Plíšková has hit, she's stepping in. She's trying to be very aggressive from the start of the points, and because that's something that she has to do. Because from the moment that she hits the ball a little bit shorter, Karolína Plíšková will be the one stepping in with those flat ground strokes that she has. So really, really clean hitting from Katie Boulter so far, and a good confident start.
Well, she was so close last year against Sabalenka. It was, I think, 3-all in the third, and then just a couple of points got away from her. But I think that was such a building block for her, knowing that she was able to come out on centre court and play really good tennis under pressure.
She also lost to Sabalenka in the second round of the Australian Open in 2019 and to Naomi Osaka in the second round here at Wimbledon 4 years ago. So she's had some pretty tough opponents when she's reached the second round, hoping to be in the third round of the Grand Slam for the first time, and she would create arguably one of the biggest upsets of the tournament so far. Here's the forehand cross-court from Boulter, forehand from Plíšková. Forehand hit very powerfully and cleanly down the line from Boulter, who's now got a high, short ball. Hits through the forehand, and it's into the net on the backhand from Plíšková. And this is a hugely encouraging start from the world number 118.
Definitely playing higher than her ranking. She has that career high of 82, but has been getting back to the level that got her into the top 100. She was struggling with a foot injury from Indian Wells onwards, so didn't play a lot of tennis for a couple of months, and then started again in Nottingham a few weeks ago. Made the last 16 there, followed by quarters in Birmingham, and of course a couple of great wins in Eastbourne.
So opening game and break to Katie Boulter here, as she sends a double fault into the net, and I think there's been a break for Stefanos Tsitsipas as well. Alison Mitchell.
He's gone a double breakup. He's 5-2 in this opening set, playing some big, deep forehands that Jordan Thompson is struggling to find answers to. Brought Tsitsipas to the net with an easy put away to go 5-2 up. And Jordan Thompson, a bit of muttering to himself. He's very frustrated. But Tsitsipas, the 4th seed, 5-2. He'll come out to serve for the opening set shortly.
Set points on court 3, Naomi Cavaday.
Well, there were 3 of them, now just 2 as Brody misses a forehand into the tramline. But this has been an excellent set of tennis from Liam Brody. He's up 5-1 and now has 15-40 on the Schwartzman serve, who really has been subpar, it has to be said. But it's for Brody to capitalise, and that is exactly what he's doing. So he's got a second serve to look at here. Points for a 6-1 set in the bag. Forehand from Schwartzman is good, and he's at the net. It's a high ball, defensive ball from Brody that goes way long. So that's 2 set points saved. Schwartzman is just looking a little low on energy. Hasn't quite got things going, but if Liam can really get on top of him, get that set in the bag before Schwartzman possibly warms up, that'll be good news. Serve down at the tee, and Brody replies through the middle of the court, and the backhand goes into the tram lines. That's 3 slightly edgy set points gone for Brody, so it is now deuce at 5-1. Diego Schwartzman with his cap backwards, of course all in white and with a glaringly bright orange racket. Neon orange, that is. That deuce serves to the backhand of Brody, and that one goes in the net. So a run of a few poor points here from Brody, but it's been a good set all in all, even though it's not quite finished here yet. But is it finished over on court 18? What's happening there, Ian?
Well, we just haven't completed the first game, but Heather Watson has come from 30 love down to 30-40 on the Wang serve. And so match point for Heather Watson here on the resumption of this match in the very first game. Wang serving, backhand return from Watson and a big forehand from Wang. The double-fisted backhand is good depth from Watson, who moves to the forehand corner, goes cross-court. Wang down the line with her forehand, guided backhand long from Watson, so back to deuce. So to court 1, and a set point there for Alison Mitchell.
Set points for Stefanos Tsitsipas at 40 love, 5-2 in this opening set. And Annabelle Croft, she probably doesn't want to cut that hair. Maybe he's superstitious, but he seems to be really starting to motor through this set now. He's fired down a couple of aces. He thought that was one, just wide.
Yeah,
it looked very close, that one, didn't it? But he's playing with a real sense of urgency and purpose out here. A lot of spin on that forehand, as you say.
We'll wait for this call. Let's get back to Ian on 18.
Forehand into the net from Wang means a second match point for Britain's Heather Watson, the 30-year-old from Guernsey, down there at the far end, crouching low. 5-4 ahead in the second set. Wang serves into the net, so a second serve to look, and bouncing on her toes like a boxer is Heather Watson, ready to pounce potentially on this second serve, which is good. Backhand return, and then the backhand from the Chinese player. Watson goes with the deep forehand to the forehand of Wang. They both conservatively go down the centre of the court, off the top of the net. Very lucky net cord for Wang, and that saves match point in the most fortuitous way imaginable. Alison.
And it is the first set to Stefanos Tsitsipas, and Jordan Thompson backhand into the net. He's been pushed to the either wing by Tsitsipas, who's drenched in sweat already, was after the first 3 games. But yes, he is playing as if he really wants to get into this third round and do it quickly.
Yeah, he does. He's brought a lot of energy onto court 1, and you can sense by the body language of Jordan Thompson that he's really irritated. As you say, he's muttering to himself, he's muttering to his support camp up there on the other side of the court, and yeah, he hasn't had any answers for it. I think there's just too much weight of shot coming down. Even though there's a lot of rotation and spin on Tsitsipas's ball, it's doing more damage down the other end. So yeah, interesting first set done in 31 minutes.
Yep, 6 games to 2, Tsitsipas with that opening set. Russell, back to you on centre.
Where Katie Boulter has managed to hang on to her serve, Ali, after breaking Karolína Plíšková in the opening game of the match. Big forehand winner. She held serve to 30, and it's currently Plíšková at 15 love. Love 2 down, last year's runner-up, serving to the backhand of Katie Boulter. Boulter with a bit of air on that forehand to the backhand wing of Plíšková. That lands very short, and Boulter taking every opportunity to attack and finishing the point with a drive volley. And this is a fabulous start for the 25-year-old from Leicester, who's had a pretty miserable time over the last 3 years. It was a stress fracture of the back while on duty for Great Britain in what was then the Fed Cup, is now the Billie Jean King Cup at the Copper Box in London over Easter weekend in 2019. Missed 6 or 7 months, returned to play some very low-level events in Thailand and India at the end of 2019, and it's been a struggle ever since. Let's go back to court 3 with more set points for Liam Brody and Naomi Cavaday.
Yes, 3 more, Russell, this time on Liam Brody's own serve. It really has been a fantastic start for him. He lost to Diego Schwartzman in the second round here last year in 4 sets, and it's a complete repeat as he misses the first serve in the net. Got the white headband on, has Liam Brody. Full beard as he kicks the serve to the forehand of Schwartzman, one of the best returners in the world. He plays a forehand through the middle of the court, drops a little bit short, and then he mishits one, and it sprays quite far long. He's getting a little nervy at this stage of the match when he's just getting to those big points, just trying to get this set done. Schwartzman's starting to warm up a little, and he's got a couple more set points to look at here. I've got Mark Woodford alongside me. I'll be bringing him in just a moment. It's 40-15. So let's go straight to court 18 because there's a match point there, Ian.
Yes, a 4th match point for Heather Watson. A wild forehand going long off the Chinese racket of Huang Wang. And now, Chinese player ranked 140 in the world, serving match point down. Forehand return, high over the net, sits up in mid-court and into the net from Wang. And Watson's done it. She needed 1 game on the resumption. It was a long one, 4 juices involved, 4 match points. But in the end, Heather Watson prevailed and she has won in straight sets, 7-5, 6-4. The match held over from last night, and the 30-year-old from Guernsey is through to the 3rd round for the 4th time in her Wimbledon career. And she is all smiles as she pops the racket back into her bag, and everyone around this court, well, didn't see that much of her, but they saw enough to see her through to the 3rd round. Russell.
Fabulous effort from Heather Watson. Isn't tennis a funny sport, Laura Robson? She's not had a great year at all, has she? She had a hamstring problem. She wasn't able to play in Birmingham. It's her favourite time of the year. And now she's got a really good opportunity to make the 2nd week of a Grand Slam for the first time in her career.
Well, not only that, she missed one of her favourite weeks of the year playing Billie Jean King Cup because she wanted to focus on her singles ranking, and still hasn't really climbed the way that she wanted. So this is a huge result for Heather. Unfortunately, at the tournament where you don't get any ranking points, but hopefully this will give her some confidence over the next couple of months, and she's able to crack the top 100 again, to feel good about her tennis, and she's enjoying life off the court, having travelled with her mum for the last couple of weeks. So all good things for Heather Watson.
And she will play in the next round Kaja Juvan of Slovenia, who has won her match 7-5, 6-3 in the 2nd round. So she is 62 in the world. It's not a bad draw, it has to be said, for a place in the 4th round at Wimbledon potentially. So well done to Heather Watson, joining Cameron Norrie in the 3rd round of the singles here at Wimbledon from a British perspective. Here on centre court, Katie Boulter with the break, leading Karolína Plíšková by 2-1. And now 30-15. I was saying all the problems she had in 2019. Kim, then the pandemic struck in 2020, so that hindered her comeback as well. And when you're outside the top 300 in the world, even if you've been a top 100 player before, it's tough, isn't it, to get back to where you want to be?
It is extremely tough, and it's one thing to try to get your injuries under control and try to get enough match rhythm in, but it's also tough to kind of mentally keep pushing forward every time, right? Every time you get, distracted with an injury and then COVID hit. And so it just, you have to, a sport is not something you can just switch on and off. You have to stay very committed throughout it all. And that sometimes becomes hard. But the way that she's playing right now, she looks like she's the 16th here at Wimbledon. She's definitely the one who's being the more aggressive player, hitting the ball clean and really, really putting a lot of pressure on Plíšková, who's not playing her best tennis yet.
Did you ever play challenges?
Yeah, when I started. Yeah. I was lucky because I won them pretty early on, so that kind of gave me enough points to get into the,
You're like, I'm out of
bigger
here.
tournaments. I got a couple wild cards here and there. Yeah.
A double fault for Katie Boulter, her second of the match. So she's now at 30 all, and she's hitting a forehand just the wrong side of the baseline. It's break-back point for Karolína Plíšková.
And this is such a different start to the one last week in Eastbourne, where Katie looked really, really nervous and just couldn't find any rhythm off Plíškova's game in the first set, which she lost pretty convincingly, then had to claw her way back. But you can just see the difference in confidence that she has at the moment.
Forehand reply from Plíšková to the forehand of Boulter. Forehand Plíšková, that's long, and she has been missing long quite a bit so far. We should also say that this has been a challenging season for Plíšková, who had played in 35 consecutive Grand Slams, was preparing for the Australian Open, and somehow managed to break her hand in the gym and didn't return until Indian Wells in March.
See, those gyms are dangerous. No, and it's, you know, for a lot of years we've been talking about Plíšková being a Grand Slam winner, like a contender, and she hasn't, you know, given herself the chance until Wimbledon last year, where she made the finals, and a lot of people were expecting, is this maybe her moment? But yeah, there's an added pressure on that, because everywhere she goes, people keep asking, is this going to be her year? Is this going to be when she can, you know, fill in those expectations?
Yep, 30 years of age now. Stay out of the gym, kids. US Open runner-up as well in 2016. She's been a world #1, but she has turned 30, so plenty of Grand Slam winning years left, but historically, not that many players win their first Grand Slam after the age of 30. Boulter's serving into the net. The second serve is good. The backhand from Plíšková. Boulter's forehand. Plíšková with the backhand down the centre. Another backhand for the tall Czech player right in front of us here in the 5 Live commentary box. Forehand from Plíšková cross-court. Boulter cross-court with a forehand. Too much heat on that, and it's deuce once more.
I can't remember who I was speaking to this week, but they'd been in Czech. I think it was Renee Stubbs, actually. They'd been in Plíškova's hometown, and she was constantly having people come up to her, the taxi driver, the people at the restaurant. When are you going to win a slam? When are you going to win a slam?
Yeah, and that's tough, right? If you can't take a break from it, right? There's one thing if you do your press conferences and you know, when you go to work, right, traveling the world and everywhere, but when you're actually home and you want to have some time away from it and you can't switch it off, it's it can kind of plant a few seeds in your head, and sometimes that doubt can start crawling in too.
A couple of lets at juice here, with Boulter leading by 2-1. She beat Clara Burel of France, the world #95 in straight sets in the first round, after a good run on the grass prior to Wimbledon. Backhand from Boulter down the middle, the slice backhand from Plíšková. That's a canny ploy on these first weak grass courts at Wimbledon, keeping very, very low. Boulter nets, and this is the second break point of the game. Quarter-final in Birmingham for Boulter. Lost there to Simona Halep, and then after beating Karolína Plíšková, lost to Petra Kvitova, the eventual champion in the third round in Eastbourne. Her ranking has risen over 100 places in the past 12 months. Forehand return from Plíšková on the second of the break points, and it's a miss-hit from Boulter, which just comes down the wrong side of the baseline, and we're back on serve here, back on level terms at 2-all.
Interesting move from Plíšková before the second serve there. She moved all the way into the tram lines and turned her body diagonally as well, basically forcing Katie Boulter to go for that kick serve down the tee. Plíšková asking the questions.
Right, she was demanding,
egging her on.
Katie to hit it into her forehand so she could take some risk.
Backhand reply from Boulter as Plíšková starts her latest service game. Forehand cross-court from Boulter. Plíšková on the run. Her forehand hits the tape and spins over. Backhand down the line. Nice improvisation from Plíšková. She's now on the run and smashes a forehand down the line. The best rally of the match so far, and it's won by the 6th seed, the former world #1.
Well, in their match last week, I have to say, Plíšková wasn't really even running those down. She was letting a lot go by her, watching a lot of shots, and that was a big effort, not only the last forehand but on the slice before, to keep it low.
And the way that she plays too, it's almost like she's always standing up straight, right? So a lot of players, you see them with their upper body moving into the court, whereas Plíšková almost always is standing up straight, even when she hits the ball and is moving from side to side.
Mid-court return by Boulter, a backhand from the British player onto the backhand of Plíšková. Plíšková cross-court with the backhand. Boulter's cross-court backhand is a little bit wide, so to 30 love, Plíšková.
She's one of those players where if you didn't know her, you'd think she wasn't really trying. And I just think her technique and her footwork around the ball is deceptive, because she manages to get there with the wingspan, and she's a tall girl,
and she anticipates good as well, right?
30 love, Plíšková. Blocked back by Boulter to the back of the court. Forehand from Boulter down the line. Plíšková slices her backhand. Boulter coming forward, but nets with the backhand approach. And these are 3 game points for Plíšková. Big difference in intensity between the second round at Eastbourne and the second round at Wimbledon, even though these matches are being played just 8 or 9 days apart. Ace from Plíšková. Fewer seagulls as well. Plíšková leads Tony by 3-2 first set.
Cheers, Russell. Busy afternoon ahead here at Wimbledon. Let's break now for the news. Here's Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Tony. Good afternoon. A mother, stepfather and teenage boy have been given life sentences for murdering a 5-year-old boy in Bridgend. Logan Mwangi's body was dumped in a river near his home in July last year. Our correspondent Thomas Morgan is in Cardiff.
A 999 call was made by young Howard Williamson. She is heard to be crying in hysterics because her 5-year-old boy, Logan Mwangi, was missing. Now, when the police came to the property later that day, it appeared as though the family was in crisis, but all of it was a lie. And Howard Williamson, John Cole and the 14-year-old had beaten, locked Logan Mwangi in his room and then killed him and then dumped the body in a local river just a few hundred metres away.
An investigation into the way some police forces in England and Wales handle allegations of domestic abuse against their own officers has found systemic deficiencies. The joint report by 4 different police bodies says some forces aren't focusing enough on the needs of victims, and misconduct cases aren't always run appropriately. Nearly 270 migrants, including women and children, arrived in the UK yesterday in small boats. So far this year, more than 12,600 people have reached the UK after crossing the Channel. NATO's Secretary-General says the alliance is rising to the challenge of helping Ukraine against Russia. More NATO troops will be based in Europe, and the UK will send another £1 billion to Kyiv. Jens Stoltenberg has been speaking at the end of a leaders' summit.
The decisions you have taken in Madrid will ensure that our alliance continue to preserve peace, prevent conflict, and protect our people and our values. Europe and North America standing together in NATO.
And petrol station workers are reporting growing abuse from drivers. The forecourt operator, Ascona Group, says staff are seeing a huge increase in verbal abuse from motorists angry about rising prices.
Wimbledon 2022 with Gigi Salmon and Tony Livesey on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Back to the tennis very shortly. Just a couple of other sports lines for you this afternoon. England have recalled James Anderson for the delayed 5th test against India at Edgbaston. That starts tomorrow. Sam Billings is going to play as wicketkeeper. Ben Foakes hasn't recovered from a stiff back. And Courtney Lawes will captain England in Saturday's first test against Australia, while scrum half Danny Kerr will win his first cap in almost 4 years. Let's go to Court 1. Alison Mitchell's watching.
The headbanded 4th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas took the first set 6-2 with serve in the second against Jordan Thompson, cap on backward, mustachioed, but there's a rare miss hit, Annabelle Croft, from Tsitsipas. We've seen some really entertaining rallies there between these two.
Yes, I mean, he's a beautiful player to watch, Tsitsipas, isn't he? He's really starting to use his slice backhand very well, which is staying extremely low. He's still kind of thundering these big topspin forehands into the corners, but went for a wild drive volley. I mean, that came off the frame and hit the back stop netting there, and I have to point out that beautiful racket he's got, because I've never seen one this colour. It's like a bronzy gold, and I want one.
Bronzy gold racket to go with the luscious blonde hair care products he was talking about earlier. Overhead smash put away by Tsitsipas, 30-all with serve. Thompson 2-1 in the second set.
Thanks, Ali. I'm due to go to centre very shortly. I want to come to Court 1 to have a look at him now. Let's go to centre court. Russell's watching Katie Boulter in action. Russell.
And suddenly under a lot of pressure, Love 40 down on her serve, and she's just put a forehand cross-court wide. Some very good returns from Karolína Plíšková in that game. She is challenging this call, but it looks, Kim, as if she's been broken to Love, and the match is changing rapidly in front of our eyes.
It is. The way that Karolína Plíšková started this game, just there was a difference in her ground strokes. The shots were a lot deeper than she'd been playing up to now. So Boulter went down Love 30 pretty quickly, and very, very impressive tennis that game.
Well, this game is still alive, actually. 2 more break points to come, but we have a match point for Nick Kyrgios. Sarah.
Yes, we do. He's going to have to do this one on the Filip Krajinovic serve. Krajinovic serving at the far end. It's Kyrgios who's up. That one's just landed on the edge of the service box, but that's okay. They're going to stay on a first serve. So Kyrgios, he's 30-40. He moves inside the net. Oh, he comes in the baseline with a beauty there to take this match. It's Kyrgios who's going to go through to the third round. And as we head back now for a break point.
So after a successful challenge, 1 break point saved by Katie Boulter. 15-40 down. Forehand return from Plíšková. The backhand from Boulter is just over the baseline this time. And that is accepted by Boulter. And Plíšková does break. And having been 2-love down, has now won 4 games in a row here on centre court and leads by 4 games to 2. All changed, Laura.
Well, it's just the difference from Plíšková, really. I think Katie's level has stayed pretty similar. She's still trying to go for the right shots, but now is just feeling that extra pressure and is not maybe getting as much love on the forehand side. Plíšková's serve percentage has gone up. She's just playing, 5-10% better, and Katie hasn't really started missing it yet. I think when Katie's really under pressure, the forehand can break down, but none of that has started. So I think she's very much still in this first set.
More good serving there from Plíšková. It is a service winner. Heather Watson going through, completing victory, winning just 1 game on the resumption to beat Wong Chang 7-5, 6-4 to join Cameron Norrie in the third round. The other 5 British players in second round action today are all playing top 20 players. So any win would be a bit of a bonus when you look at it like that. And Liam Brodie, remember, is already a set up against Diego Schwartzman on number 3 court.
I'm just taking another look up at the player boxes, and I have noticed that Jez Green, former trainer of Andy Murray, is in with Plíšková, and Katie's mum Sue is now looking ever so slightly concerned, whereas a couple of games ago she was nodding away. So I'll keep an eye on her and see if it's still looking positive.
Let us know if the colour of her skin changes over the course of the match. It's 30-15 to Plíšková. That's Boulter netting with the backhand.
40-15.
Jeremy Bates has been coaching Plíšková, Boulter rather, for a long time.
A long old time. Jodie Burridge up there watching as well in the top corner. Brits supporting each other.
Ace from Plíšková, serving beautifully, returning very nicely. 5 games in a row in double quick time. She leads by 5 games to 2 in this first set. Let's hear a little bit more about that second round victory for Nick Kyrgios over the Queen's runner-up Filip Krajinovic. Sarah Orchard, it sounds like it was a much, much, much better performance than the one he put in the first round.
I tell you what, Russell, it really was some incredible tennis that Nick Kyrgios put on show here today. 6-2, 6-3, 6-1. And watching alongside me, Jeff Tarango. I mean, first the tennis, incredible, but it's whether the mentality of Kyrgios can maintain this momentum going forward.
Exactly right, Sarah. Can he do this again? Can he repeat this? Does he know what he did? Does he know how he was so mentally focused? I just think it's incredible to watch Kyrgios because you just never know what you're going to get. And then you see something like this. It's almost like watching Federer play one of his best matches. It's that kind of talent. It's that kind of shot making. Serving. I mean, I want to ask him if his second job is a painter, because he was painting the lines with those serves at 135. And I mean, everybody dreams of being able to do that, and he can do it whenever he wants.
Yeah, some of those big serves, very reminiscent of what we saw from John Isner against Andy Murray last night. But Kyrgios is through in straight sets. He'll be taking on the winner of that match between Tsitsipas and Thompson. And so it is now back to Russell on centre.
And I'm going to take you straight to court 12, Sarah, where earlier Taylor Fritz, the 11th seed, beat Alistair Gray at 288 in the world. And now Aaron Paul is watching Bianca Andreescu, who's had quite a few years since winning the US Open. Problems with injury, problems with her mental health as well, but good to see her playing a bit more consistently recently.
Yeah, she's just called out in fact, she called out the Canadian television broadcasters yesterday, Russell, for their lack of support of her. Instead, they focused on Denis Shapovalov and Felix Auger-Aliassime. Not having the best of luck today. She's playing some tactical tennis, trying to really play some body serves into Elena Rybakina, who is 4-3 up in this first set. Backing up.
Thank you, Aaron. 5 Live for a Thursday afternoon, so day 4 of the Wimbledon Championships. We're on BBC Sounds, and we seem to be going through the afternoon and through the evening now that matches are being scheduled a little bit later in the day here at Wimbledon this year. On centre court at the moment, with the roof closed because of the threat of rain, we're watching Katie Boulter try and keep this first set alive. 2-5 down to Karolína Plíšková, and the applause is for a point in favour of Boulter as Pliskova's forehand is long.
The crowd will take anything at the moment from 2-love. Pliskova's barely missed a ball and Katie's just struggling to stay in the rally.
I think this would be the biggest upset of the championship so far, were Katie Boulter able to win. I know we've lost higher seeds in Annette Kontaveit and Casper Ruud, but one has had problems with COVID and the other one has barely played on grass in his career. Forehand down the line winner from Boulter.
30-15.
And these courts play a little differently than Eastbourne as well. The centre court in particular has been really low to the ground, so Plíšková just getting a bit more love with her flat ground strokes.
30-15, 2-5 down. Boulter missing the first serve. She had a decent junior career. She reached the final of the Junior Orange Bowl in Florida at the age of 14. That's a very prestigious tournament. She serves now. Forehand return is long by Plíšková. And she also won, I'd never heard of this, the Lemon Bowl in Rome at the age of 11.
Is this Katie or?
Katie.
I've never heard of the Lemon Bowl
No.
either. What age group
is there a
is that?
Clementine Bowl and
Well,
a
that's what I was thinking. There's a range of citrus fruits that have given their names to junior competitions. She was 11 at the time. I'm not sure what the maximum age is, as Plíšková hits a forehand very powerfully, and Boulter off the top of the net and wide with the forehand. Did you ever win any citrus fruit based competitions in your junior days then?
I won the Orange Bowl.
You did win the Orange Bowl, of course you did.
I don't think I did. I was there, but I was really young when I was there. I think I was 13 or 14. But it was, yeah. I was talking to a friend the other day about, our junior days and how exciting it was, as a young player to travel the world and to start that kind of process of, traveling internationally and kind of coming in contact with some of the pro players here and there. That was kind of the start of it all, and it's an amazing experience to have at such a young age.
Plíšková wide with the forehand, so Katie Boulter has at least stopped the rot. She's kept the set alive. 5 games in a row won by Plíšková until that moment. 5-3 though. Plíšková with the big serve, a heavy favourite to close out this first set now as she serves from in front of the royal box. First serve is a good one. It's a high defensive backhand return too long from Boulter.
I was beaten by Plíšková in juniors. Final of Australian Open juniors, and I played her twin sister in the semis.
That would have been
Back
some
to
double.
back.
Ace from Plíšková, moving to 30-love.
Her serve is just looking so much better than the previous couple of matches that I've seen from her. Even in the first round against Martinsova, we were talking about the double faults, but she faced 12 break points. If Martinsova had been able to convert a few more of them, it would have been an entirely different match.
So 5-3, 30-love. Plíšková down the tee. It's another outstanding serve. Boulter has done well to get racket on ball, but again, the high backhand, just trying to get some sort of part of the racket on the strings, has landed over the baseline. And these are now 3 set points to Plíšková. The high return from Boulter, the forehand from Plíšková. Boulter with the backhand down the line and into the net. And that was very impressive after a slow start by Plíšková and an excellent start by Katie Boulter. But really, the reality is, Gigi, there was very little she could do after that. Plíšková takes the first set by 6-3.
Thank you very much, Russell. We're back to centre court shortly, but there's plenty of action taking place. Already seen wins today for Paula Badosa. I saw her up on the media roof doing some interviews. And the Eastbourne winners from the men's side, Taylor Fritz, who beat Alistair Gray of Great Britain, and Petra Kvitova. On court one at the moment, we've had an awful lot of talking about his hair, but he's doing his talking at the moment, Alistair Mitchell, with his tennis.
Stefanos Tsitsipas is playing some magic tennis, and in fact they feel as if this one is really hotting up. It's 3 games all. There's been a break of serve from both sides. Tsitsipas was broken first, and then Thompson is now just putting a ball high. Tsitsipas setting himself up for a smash. Thompson's got it back. The crowd are really into this drop shot. Tsitsipas, up comes Thompson. Tsitsipas with the pass, and it's a winner. And Annabelle Croft, court 1, is engrossed in this matchup at the moment.
Oh, it's magical to watch. We are seeing some spectacular tennis, and particularly from Tsitsipas' side of the net. There's a lot of artistry, creativity going on. He's using slice backhands and he's using drop shots. That one was a spectacular drive volley to finish it off. And, you know, I think there's something special about the single-handed backhand, the way he bends his knees and really kind of unleashes it. And you can hear how much this crowd are enjoying it. It's really special tennis at the moment.
He's got great flair, Tsitsipas, and he's now got 2 break points here to move ahead in this second set, having won the first, but he's put a low backhand into the net. However, he's still got another chance. 30-40 on the Thompson serve. 3 games all. Second set, Gigi.
Thank you very much to you both. There was a win today for Alizé Cornet, who made comments recently about the epidemic of COVID cases that were going around the Roland Garros women's changing rooms recently. Ayla Tomljanovic, the Australian, coming through in her match. The veteran Richard Gasquet getting a win over Mackenzie McDonald in 4 sets. And Botic van der Sandskloep, who's the 21st seed, he came through after losing the first set against Emil Roussevoori. And earlier today, it was a match to complete, so an end of a match. Heather Watson was able to get it done against one of China's 7-5, 6-4. Now, another result we had for you was Nick Kyrgios. I mean, he was on form, 1 hour and 25 minutes. He lost just 6 games against Filip Krajinovic, the Eastbourne finalist and the 26th seed. And once the win was done, the game was done, he spoke courtside to Jenny Drummond.
Nick, well, I think it's fair to say that was pretty much a masterclass out there. Compared to your first round match, just what was so different for you out there today?
I mean, obviously nerves. I think, you know, just getting over the line in that first round was massive. But, you know, I've been playing some really good tennis over the last month, so I was really surprised, you know, the way I played the other day. You know, I wasn't great, but, you know, there's a lot of positives. You know, I didn't play anywhere near my best and got through it. And today, obviously, you know, I was kind of in my zone, just great body language, just played well. And, you know, I just wanted to remind everyone that I'm pretty good.
I love that you just said that with a deadpan face as well. No smile?
No.
No, okay. I'll keep working hard. Okay. So, I mean, your timing was unbelievable. I think you lost about 10 points on serve, almost 50 winners. It was unbelievable. I'm actually a bit nervous to ask this question, but what is it like inside the mind of Nick Kyrgios when you are playing that well?
I'm just happy, you know, I've been working hard and, you know, as I said, I've been preparing for this tournament. It's been circled on my calendar pretty much all year and I'm so excited to be here again. It's genuinely a tournament. I think it's my best chance to win a Grand Slam, you know, of all the 4. So I think, you know, I'll just take it, I'll keep taking it match by match. You know, I've obviously got an incredibly tough draw still, but, you know, today I couldn't have played better and now I can just recover and get ready.
Well, you've also got to get ready for your doubles later because you are up with one of your very good friends, Thanasi Kokkinakis. Should we get our popcorn ready for that?
I don't know. We'll see. You know, obviously we have a lot of fun every time we step out on the court together. but as I said, my body comes first, so I'll do whatever's best for my singles right now.
We'll go get in the ice bath. Very well done, Nick, once again. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Kyrgios.
Nick Kyrgios in conversation with Jenny Drummond. It's a very brave question. What was going on inside the mind of Nick Kyrgios? I'm not sure. Maybe Nick Kyrgios doesn't even know what's going on inside the mind. But it was a business-like performance, and that was a quite business-like interview after the match from Nick Kyrgios, who moves through. It's 2:20 in the afternoon, 41 minutes on the match clock. We're underway with set 2, Katie Boulter against Karolína Plíšková. Boulter did what she needed to do, Kim Clijsters, in the first game in the second set, and that was just to settle herself and hold her serve.
That's right, and she started well in the first set as well, and it's important for Katie now to kind of forget, those next 5 games after she was up 2-love in that first set, and to really start from zero and keep doing what she was doing, and as being aggressive, like Laura was saying before. There's not much that she could have done any differently. Plíšková is playing so well, started striking the ball a lot deeper, putting Katie a little bit on her back foot. And so again, nothing, it's not like Katie's making a lot more on first errors or anything. It's more the way that the ball is coming off the racket from Karolína Plíšková that's making the difference now.
This big, clean hitting from Plíšková. And Laura, I feel this is deja vu in terms of what we were saying about John Isner last night. It's big serving, it's angles, it's clean hitting. It's just too good from Plíšková.
And there's not even anywhere near as much height difference as there was from this exact position last night. But Plíšková, we can just see she's finding that much more, that extra little bit of angle on the serve. She's able to flatten it out a bit more, and Katie, I think, is maybe just getting a little bit passive in the rally and going a lot down the middle, but that's a forehand winner, so we'll take it.
Yeah, she soaked up the pace of the ball, she redirected, she found the line.
15-all.
She'll have to do a lot more of that against Karolína Plíšková, who, as you've been saying, you don't get, she's so laid back. You don't get, I don't know what's going on inside, but outwardly. But she can drop off a little, and Katie Boulter's got to stay with her.
I feel like she's actually looked quite animated for her.
Well,
she doesn't usually even give a lot of fist bumps or anything, but she's looked up over at the box quite a few times. She's, I think, wanting revenge from last week.
The off backhand return from Plíšková, who's crunching that backhand cross, got on the defences. Boulter back behind the baseline, a looping shot, the slice that dropped short, the slice into the net from Plíšková. And then she has another go and she puts it into the net again. Watched by her husband, who's also now her manager. Sasha Bain, her coach. You mentioned Jez Green up there. And I think what it shows about Plíšková at the age of 30 is she's still investing in herself. She's still hiring these people to see if she can cross that Grand Slam final finish line.
I think Jez is just helping out as Plíšková misses a backhand in the net. I spoke to him a couple of days ago, and he was like, I'm so free that if you ask me for a coffee at any time, I am ready.
Apart from
he's very available right now.
I think also Plíšková in the past, she's worked with some of our past women's champions. She's worked with Conchita Martinez, who's now coaching Garbiñe Muguruza. She worked with Renee Stubbs, who I think is one of the smartest coaches out there.
This is massive hitting from Plíšková. She finds the line too much for Katie Boulter to handle. So Boulter, 40-30, the game continues. And Sasha Bain, he won't come cheap. He was working with a lot of... He started off the hitting partner of Serena Williams. He worked a bit with Caroline Wozniacki. He was with Naomi Osaka, where she won her first Grand Slam titles, then wrote a book about his time with Naomi Osaka. Spent a little time with Yastremska.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Did you read the book?
No.
Would you read the book?
No. No.
And that's that.
Have you read it?
I have not.
No.
I didn't even know there was one.
No, me neither.
Yeah, there is a book. I think there was a sort of big launch in Japan because he was thinking maybe I can, grab this market. Talk a little bit about our time together. They had a very successful time together. She won Grand Slams with Sasha Bain, but you felt personality-wise it just wasn't a fit as we've gone back to Hawkeye. just a slither of that line was caught. So Katie Boulter back to the back of the court to get her towel. Karolína Pliskova will go and sit down. We're 3 games in to this second set, so we'll take the opportunity to find out how one of my favourite players on the tour is getting along. Bianca Andreescu being watched by Aaron Paul.
Yeah, the 17th seed Elena Rybakina has broken Bianca Andreescu to love to take the first set here, 6-4. Gigi, really poor service game from Andreescu, who looked as if she was gaining control of this match earlier on, firing an ace and a drop shot to make it 3-3 before struggling herself with the Rybakina serve. But Rybakina efficiently hitting well off Andreescu's serve and is a set and a game up here on court 12.
Thank you very much. Aaron to court 2 to Abigail Johnson, keeping an eye on Harriet Dart. And what a test this is against Jessica Pegula.
Well, it is a test, Gigi, but it's also one that I think Harriet Dart could rise to. She's broken in the opening game, has Dart, the world number 94, against the world number 9 in Jessica Pegula, who is looking to reach the 3rd round at Wimbledon for the first time in the singles. So even though she's the higher ranked player, she's looking at some unknown territory here. And Dart, she'll have the crowd behind her, and she's in great form coming into the event. So I think there's a good reason to be hopeful.
Abigail, thank you very much. We'll keep you across everything that takes place. A win for Heather Watson early today in a match that was carried over. Defeat for Alistair Gray at the hands of Eastbourne champion Taylor Fritz. Katie Boulter's bouncing around at the back of the court like a sort of Energizer bunny, and the sort of laid-back Pliskova is waiting to slam the serve down the tee, but it comes back with a lovely angled backhand winner off the returner serve, and a couple of fist pumps from Boulter, who has a word with herself. It's Pliskova serving towards the royal box. Crouches so low, it's like a sumo squat that Boulter does. Then she springs up, but the ball clipped the top of the net, going down the tee from Pliskova. Best was a semi-final in Strasbourg this year, but as Rossa was telling you, she had that injury with the break in the wrist at the start of the year, and that freak accident as Boulter crunches the forehand back behind Pliskova to move to love 30.
This is the first little opportunity that Katie's had since being 2-love up in the first set. Just hasn't had a look in at all in Pliskova's service games. Karolína still winning a huge amount of those first serve points.
She goes for the 1-2 punch, but Boulter reads it, gets her with the backhand, puts it through the middle of the court. The off backhand from Pliskova. Pliskova's standing still and just moving Boulter from side to side, and eventually it is the Brit who breaks down, and Pliskova gets herself on the board.
15-30.
Boulter keeps her back to her opponent, and when she is ready, she gets into position. You should move at the speed of the server, and Pliskova doesn't take that much time. She'll never be bothered about the shot clock. Serve down the tee. It's crunched back on the forehand, and the backhand slice from Boulter to the backhand just placed in the middle of the court from Pliskova. Pliskova with a double-handed backhand, very deep from Pliskova. Oh, I think she thought that was long. She places her forehand long, but no call came. Boulter was saying, shall I challenge? And I think Carlos Ramos was saying there's no need to challenge.
15-40.
You've won the point, you've got break points. Crouches low, Boulter. Pliskova ready with the serve. Misses out wide. Ball immediately from the shorts under the dress on the left-hand side from Pliskova. No bounce of the ball needed. Winds, tosses it up. Serves down the tee. It's missed. It's a double fault from Pliskova. She has thrown in the double fault. And there's confirmation that Katie Boulter, point, game, break to lead 3-1 in the second set.
Katie's brother James was feeling a break there. He had his phone ready to go. He was videoing, and he's got a sixth sense, because I'm not sure that I saw the double fault coming there. I feel like Pliskova, she's just not as good as she was at maintaining the level.
Katie Boulter, though, they say it's not a break until it's consolidated. Can she do that now? She goes deep and too deep with the forehand.
Challenge. Katie Boulter is challenging the call left baseline. Ball's called out.
I think in that previous game we saw where she doubted the linesman's call. So I guess she might as well challenge this one, although it was out.
Katie Boulter has 2 challenges remaining.
So Katie Boulter with the raw box behind her, with our commentary box behind her, settles herself, winds herself 5'11", just a little bit short of the 6'1" Pliskova. Now we heard of a a good early start for Harriet Dart against Jessica Pegula, but she's playing quality in Pegula. And Abigail, things have taken a turn.
Yeah, back on serve on court 2. I hope it wasn't my fault. I had the door of the commentary box open to try and connect to the Wi-Fi, and maybe Harriet heard me talking about what a great start she'd had. A double fault to hand the break back over to Pegula, but both players hitting the ball well, and Dart is such a competitor. She's going to lock straight back into this as she puts an overhead away as I speak and makes it love 30 on the Pegula serve. So I feel like there could be a few twists and turns in this one.
And I feel like you should close the door if she's going to be listening to you, Abigail.
That door is closed.
From Plíšková. It's deep, it's too deep from Boulter. It's exactly the same position that she went with the first point of this game, and immediate opportunities for Plíšková to break back.
Such an unfortunate time for the forehand from Boulter to break down a couple of times in a row, and just looks like she's slowing down the racket head speed slightly, moving back when she's still in the swing.
Love 40, 3-1. Boulter with the serve out wide, the backhand's in play, cross-court, the backhand down the line from Boulter, who's on the baseline, just inside it with the forehand, but the same exact position. 3 overhit forehands from Katie Boulter, and it's a break back, and it's a break to love for Karolína Plíšková, who immediately, Kim Clijsters gets us back on serve.
It does, and this is what Laura was describing in the first set, is, although Katie Boulter was up 2-0 and Plíšková went up 5-2. It wasn't really because of Katie Boulter playing less tennis, but now we can see that forehand is starting to break down, and she is making more and more unforced errors. The backhand is staying very consistent, but the forehand is definitely not on target at the moment.
Set points on court 1 with Alison Mitchell.
Stefanos Tsitsipas has just taken out the second set, 6-3, but not without its moment of controversy, Annabelle Croft, because 3 games all and deuce. Tsitsipas hit the sideline. The ball was called out as Thompson played the forehand into the net. The umpire overruled the call, said the ball was good, awarded the point to Tsitsipas. That was break point. He then did break. But Jordan Thompson was furious, calling to the umpire, that is a joke, that is an absolute joke. Explain why.
Well, it's one of those situations where you have to try and decipher, did the call come and disrupt the player's play? And when we've kind of watched it back together, Ali, we've watched it a few times and listened out to when that call came. It definitely came before he hit the ball. In other words, that would have disrupted his hit. And he didn't really take a full swing at it. And then he was absolutely seething. He had a long discussion with the umpire and said, we're going to watch this back together later and you are going to apologise. And I have to say, I think he might have to.
After we watched it back, indeed, the winner of this one will play Kyrgios next. But there is a break point meanwhile for Harriet Dart.
Breakpoint converted by Harriet Dart. 3 games, 3 breaks here on court 2. Dart is such a great counterpuncher, really good mover and watcher of the ball at the back of the court, and that is going to challenge Jessica Pegula, who knows how to put her foot down but is really going to have to use those sharp volleying skills in the forecourt to get through this one today. Back to Gigi.
Abigail, thank you very much. We'll be back to the action on centre court very shortly, with Plíšková serving at love 15 and 2-3, but not before the time at 2:32. The news on 5 Live with Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A mother, stepfather and a teenager are starting life sentences for murdering 5-year-old Logan Mwangi and dumping his body in a river in Bridgend County. John Cole, who's 40, will serve at least 29 years, and Harald Williamson will serve at least 28. The boy, who's 14, will serve at least 15 years. They killed Logan in July last year. Boris Johnson says Britain's defence spending will probably increase from 2% of GDP right now to 2.5% by the end of the decade. He's been speaking at the end of a NATO summit in Madrid, which was dominated by the war in Ukraine. 15 people have been arrested in France over the sinking of a migrant boat in the Channel. 27 migrants died after an inflatable dinghy capsized in November last year. And there are calls for the government to take urgent action to address the shortage of GPs in England. The Health Foundation think tank has found that the current 4,200 shortfall of doctors could rise to more than 10,000 by the end of the decade.
Wimbledon 2022 with Gigi Salmon and Tony Livesey on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Well, this is all very strange. So you heard the confirmation of the scoreline there, which tells you that Katie Boulter has regained her break. Now, she did it, breaking Plíšková to love. And once again, Laura Robson, Plíšková gives up her service game with a double fault.
And this is where her game starts to break down a little bit, and this never really used to happen. The serve was always her biggest weapon, and it still is, but the consistency just isn't there anymore, and the first serve percentage drops. It looks like she starts overthinking where to go on the second, and all of a sudden all this doubt creeps into her game, and it really does affect the rest of her tennis. You see the ground strokes and the footwork maybe drops off a little bit as well, and now a huge chance for Katie to try and consolidate the break in the second.
Yeah, she has to take advantage, but the first point of game 7 goes to Plíšková.
I think her nickname in the past, at least, was the Ice Queen, because she stays so cool and collected out there. But sometimes I wish in moments like this she would kind of maybe show a little bit of frustration, or even when she goes up, like show some more emotion, so that she can, you can feel it's some frustration in her.
The backhand return from Plíšková gets back into the centre of the court, and she hits the forehand. The volley is good and clean, and a winner from Boulter.
15-all.
Plíšková up to the line, looking down at the court, just swatting away something. I don't think it was a living thing. Well, if it was, it's now not.
It looks like some dirt, or
let's go with dirt.
Old grass.
15-all. Boulter, with the visor on the long blonde ponytail halfway down her back, drops the ball short, and the backhand slight miss it is the back edge of the line, and into the net goes Boulter.
15.
Better depth from Plíšková. I'm totally with Kim. I just feel like sometimes she looks so wound up and doesn't let anything out or even show that she cares. And that's just how she's always been, even from juniors.
15-30. Boulter serves into the net, looking to go out wide to the backhand of the 6'1" Czech, former world number 1, current world number 7, 6th seed here, runner-up last year. Boulter, double fault, break-back points for Karolína Plíšková.
It's all gone a bit haywire. I mean, it's fair to say that the level from both players has dropped significantly.
Yeah, there's just a lot more unforced errors right now happening on both sides than we saw in the first set.
Forehand return to the feet. Plíšková has got break-back point, but she doesn't take advantage of the first as she slices the backhand into the net.
And even that one, for Plíšková to drop into the slice when she's not in position for it, it's a no-win shot, even if that comes off. Katie's then moving forward, looking to approach the net.
Got a second opportunity to get us back on serve here, Plíšková. Boulter reaches up with the first serve and nets. So second serve pressure from Plíšková hasn't crept that much further forward to the baseline, but the wide stance, staring straight forward on her toes. Now she's on the baseline, plays the forehand, middle of the court, backhand cross court from Boulter, backhand netted from Plíšková. And this is when you kind of want Plíšková to roar or yell or slap her thigh or do something, but she just walks to the other side.
Well, it just feels like she's now waiting for the error from Boulter's racket rather than trying to, be the aggressive player on court like she was from 2-love down in the first set.
Deuce from 15-40. Boulter with the break, looking to consolidate. Good deep return from Plíšková into the net from Boulter. Breakpoint opportunity number 3.
And these are the moments that, where you feel a little bit of doubt can start to crawl in. They both feel that the other player is not playing well. So this is a chance to kind of for Plíšková to get back and to get back into the second set, for Katie Boulter to kind of go 5-2 up and get one game away from winning the second set.
Second serve. Plíšková now has crept forward. She's onto the baseline. She's showing Boulter that she's coming even further forward, which she does. She plays a double-handed backhand, gets it through the middle of the court. The off forehand from Boulter. The backhand cross-court very deep from Plíšková. It was the depth there that won it for Plíšková. Just a little fist pump to her more animated box. And we are back on serve. 4-3 in favour of Katie Boulter. There's confirmation of the score in this match. We're heading straight back to court 2. Abigail Johnson, Harriet Dart.
We finally had a hold of serve. Harriet Dart did back up the break for 3-1, and she's now putting pressure again on the Jessica Pegula serve at 30-all for the American. I like this matchup for Harriet Dart. I think looking at a top 10 seed or a top 20 seed she could have had here in round 2, she could have had a Barbora Krejcikova who likes to manipulate the ball, someone who would have her running around a little bit more and be switching up the pace and the rhythm, but you kind of know what you're going to get with Pegula, and she's feeling the pressure. She just dumps a second serve into the net, double fault, and we've got a break point here for Harriet Dart that would see her take a very impressive double break lead to open up this match. So she's getting ready at the baseline, just a pace behind it. Here comes the serve from Pegula into the backhand of Dart, sent down the line, forehand cross court with margin from Pegula, another into the forehand of Dart, who's staying with this and getting good depth on the ball. Down the line, just catches from Pegula. She's in the forecourt, she's got time on the ball, backhand puts away. She does make it to deuce, but you can be sure that Harriet Dart is going to keep suffocating her here and keep making her step up to win these points. Back to Gigi.
Abigail, thank you very much. To court 3, to Naomi Cavaday and to Liam Brody.
Set points, and it is not the way of Liam Brody. We've been chugging along nicely on serve as Schwartzman has really lifted his level. He's the 12th seed here. He knocked out Brody last year, and now he's got 2 set points on the Brody serve. We just had a very misjudged smash from Brody that went way long. First set point for Schwartzman, and the forehand from Brody is a lefty one, and it goes to the backhand of Schwartzman, which is missed. And Woody alongside me, it's a very different Schwartzman in set number 2 than we saw in the first.
He looked out of it, out of sorts totally in set 1, but he hangs around. He's a marquee name, and look, these are the first break opportunities that he's had in the whole match, and they arrive at a crucial stage. Still set point.
So second set point for Schwartzman. He's wide on the backhand and dumps that one in the net. The crowd really like it. Getting behind Brody here because he is putting in a really strong performance. So we are at juice now, and I will keep you up to date with how this set unfolds, Gigi.
Thank you very much to you both. Here we have a Hawkeye challenge. We've got a double fault from Plíšková. The ball was good from Katie Boulter, who looks up with a huge grin to her box as Plíšková looks up to her box as if to say, but it wasn't. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. So it's love 15, 3-4. We've had 4 games and 4 breaks. We're looking for a hold here. The redirection of the backhand misses from Boulter, and Plíšková's on the board with Laura Robson, and Kim Kleister's watching this one.
And Plíšková is starting this game again with a double fault. So definitely not feeling at her most comfortable with her serve right now.
3 double faults in this set for Plíšková. 5 for the match.
Looking at her technique, it's almost hard to see where it goes wrong for the double faults, but it just looks like it's one slow,
one-dimensional, right?
Backhand from Plíšková. It replaces that ball. She scurries for it, stretches for it. Boulter can't control it off the backhand side. Now game points for a first hold since the 3rd game, and to level us up at 4 games all. Plíšková is ready. Boulter is just about ready. Wide stance from Boulter. She's up on her toes now. She just blocks back that forehand. It misses the court. There's just the tiniest little fist bump from Karolína Plíšková, who holds for 4-all. And did you know that Karolína Plíšková has her fishing license?
I didn't, but now I do.
She's a big fan of freshwater fishing.
I can actually see her do that.
I can see her
just
chilled out,
sitting
fishing.
there.
Hours.
Yep.
Hours. Not catching, it's just hours. She says she switches the phone off. She lives in Monte Carlo. It's not a lot of freshwater fishing in Monte Carlo, but she says when she gets back to the Czech Republic, she likes to sit for it. She's got a license. Yeah. No one can, but I can't. It does fit.
It does. Yeah, it suits. Yeah.
15 love.
Boulter bouncing up and down at the baseline. Career high of 82 for Katie Boulter. Came into this tournament at 118 as she works her way back. Had a mixed year, out for 3 months. Missed the clay. Had problems at Lyon that came back after Indian Wells, but she's done so well through this grass court season.
30 love.
So while we've settled and the breaks have stopped, there's breaks going on aplenty with Abigail Johnson.
Yeah, it seems to be a magnet for them, or more Harriet Dart does. So she's really got on top of things right from the word go here, and Jessica Pegula is feeling that. Dart was pushing and pushing, and ultimately the double break lead was gained via a double fault from her opponent. 4-1 Harriet Dart leads. She's timing the ball exquisitely, and she's getting herself on top of that baseline, finding the center of her racket routinely. And Pegula, she's got this great A game, the big forehand getting up to the net, but Dart is preventing her from doing that a little. She's finding the opening, she's threading the ball, and the crowds are loving it. If she can hold for 5-1, she is well on her way to this opening set.
Thank you, Abigail. Very shortly, news of a set, but let's see if Katie Boulter can close out this 9th game of the second set. A set she must win, with Plíšková having taken the first by 6-3. First serve misses, ball girl scurries forward, now has 3 balls held behind her back, standing straight upright as Boulter serves into the body and into the middle of the box. Boulter looked to be the aggressor, but netted as she came forward.
I mean, it just hasn't really been the best couple of games for either player, and Katie has just lost the rhythm on the forehand side. As we've been saying, that is the side that can break down more often, and when it gets in her head as well, like it is at the moment, even though it's 40-15, it does feel like this is still a winnable game for Plíšková.
Game points for Boulter for 5-4 after an hour and 7 minutes on court. Very deep serve. She's down on one knee with a backhand through the middle of the court. The slice from Plíšková. Plíšková with a double-handed backhand flat through the middle. The forehand, off forehand into the corner. And there's a come on, there's a roar, and there's a fist pump from Katie Boulter because she has held serve and she leads by 5-4 here on centre court. Now that news of a set that's gone on court 3 with Naomi Cavaday.
Yes, and it's gone the way of Diego Schwartzman. He did manage to break Brody in that final game. It ended up being the final game as Schwartzman won the second set 6-4. Now, Woody, feels like the memories are flooding back of last year, because last year Brody was up against Schwartzman in round 2. He won the first set and then it really ran away from him. How can he stop the former world number 8, and he's the 12th seed here, from doing that again?
Well, I felt like he stopped actually being aggressive and stopped looking for those moments to actually move to the net. They've been few and far between, but he had a success rate and success against Schwartzman. But I felt like that Brody, just at the back end of set 2 there, hesitated, started to engage in longer rallies, and of course that just sits up nicely for Diego Schwartzman.
And off of those balls that did sit up nicely for Schwartzman, we saw a couple of cracking backhands down the line. He hits them so early, dead straight, so he is just starting to really build his game. So Brody, the beginning stages of set number 3 are going to be so crucial, Gigi.
And we look forward to coming back to you and keeping us updated with how Liam Brody is getting on. Action all around the championships. The rain that we were told was coming has held off. I've probably jinxed it now, and it'll start to rain everywhere, but not on Central number 1, where the roofs were put on precautionary reasons for that, because it hasn't rained to this point. A drop shot winner from Boulter.
We see Karolína Plíšková, who was being motivated by her box. She kind of told him to kind of keep it down a little bit. Just let me do my thing.
This is a woman who likes fishing. She likes peace and quiet. She likes things to be calm. 4-5, love 15. Boulter with the forehand. That sits up short and high. Brought down cross court with the backhand from Plíšková. Plíšková with the backhand after a deep ball from Boulter. And then Boulter goes cross court, but you heard the cry. The arm flew out from the line judge.
15-all.
Although she's making some more unforced errors, Katie Boulter, I do like that she's still going for her shots, right? That's the only way to try and get that momentum back to your side. If you're maybe not hitting your forehand as confident as you did in the beginning, but that's the only way to try and get that confidence back.
15-all, first serve into the net. No bounce of the ball needed ahead of the serve. Second serve, Plíšková reaches up, serves. Oh, I was going to say that was deep. According to the line judge, it was too deep. Hawkeye will have the final say.
It did look a little bit long, and again, just the racket head speed slows down. Oh, it's caught the back of the line.
The little look from Plíšková to Carlos Ramos, as if to say, why are we replaying that? And
yeah,
why
did
that
return out?
Yeah. But we are. So 15-all, 4-5. Plíšková served down the tee, and she says that's what we do with that.
30-15.
That was much better. 112 down the tee, caught the back of the line. We could see the chalk fly up.
Positive body language from Katie Boulter. She's always on the move. She's now swaying from side to side, bending the knees, straightening them up on her toes. Plays the backhand into the net. Game points.
40-15.
I think Katie could maybe try and block a few more of these first serve returns. She has that squash shot available on both sides. She's pretty handy when she comes forward and mixes it up with the slice. I think that's a good option just to get herself into the rally here.
Game points for 5-all in this second set. Plíšková serves down the tee. The backhand is netted.
Or even try to do something like we saw Karolína Plíšková do earlier in the first set. Change the position of your stand, where you're standing. Make her hit that forehand, that serve down the tee, or make her hit that serve out wide. Just try to change it up a little bit, because she's not, she has to feel that Karolína Plíšková is not in full confidence on her serve. So try to make her doubt a little bit more here and there.
The sun's come out. I mean, it's shining through the roof, but things have got lighter on centre court as Boulter goes forehand down the line, backhand through the middle of the court from Plíšková, who scoops up the lob, and Katie Boulter will wait and let it drop and play the forehand into the corner of the forehand wing that goes back cross court, then down the line from Boulter. Pick up on the backhand from Plíšková. Boulter is in control. She goes into the corner. The forehand from Plíšková misses the court, and that is the roar from Katie Boulter.
Really positive point moving forward, adding some extra pace on the forehand. And Katie is looking like she still believes she can win this. I mean, she's glancing over at Jeremy Bates, her coach, almost after every point right now, trying to get a little extra something from the box.
Boulter down the tee, a deep return forehand cross court onto the sideline from Boulter. Fist pump.
40 love.
John's got in touch to say that tennis players with a fishing licence should be good at net calls.
See what you did there.
Laura, sorry, John, Laura wasn't amused. You got a bit of a laugh from Kim.
40 love.
My dad's trying to get me into fishing.
I don't see you fishing. It just doesn't.
Is that a compliment or what? Or a negative? I don't know.
I don't think it's either. I see Kim fishing. Kim, I could see you fishing.
I don't know. I think I would just have problems like hooking, getting the bait on the hook and all that stuff is not, I don't know.
If someone did that, would you like just to sit there?
I mean, I've been on a boat where, we've had the fishing rods out but we didn't catch anything.
Oh,
so
okay.
Can you call that fishing? I don't know.
Tempting to fish. Game points for 6-5.
But I do love my peace and quiet. I don't really need it. Fishing.
That's the only way to get it. I would go fishing. Game points for 6-5. Boulter, double faults.
40-15.
Has it worked from your dad then? Have you gone fishing? Are you going to try fishing?
He goes at like 4 in the morning.
But would you try it?
I'll try it, but in the daytime.
Well, that is the daytime.
Game point, serve out wide, the forehand back and deep. It's a short ball, middle of the court. The crunch of the off forehand from Plíšková. The net found, and now things are tightening up a little bit. 5 games all now, 40-30.
And Katie just looking a little high when she hit that shot. The knee bend wasn't there. Maybe just thinking a little bit about the scoreboard here.
Still a point to close out the game and lead 6-5 and guarantee herself at least a tiebreak. Boulter reaches up, serves out wide, the backhand cross court. Missed the court, and Plíšková, well, she's already back to a chair. Boulter, there's a little skip, there's a fist pump, it's back to her towel. But we do know one thing for sure, Tony, and that is Katie Boulter. She might not win this set, she might not win this match, but she has guaranteed at least a tiebreak in the second set. 6-5 she leads.
Yeah, thanks, Gigi. So frustrating to watch, isn't it, when she can't just hold her serve after breaking so many times. But look, we'll see how that pans out. Harriet Dart's in action on court number 2. Abigail's watching them.
Yeah, and the tables have turned here. Harriet Dart was 4-1 and serving, but I think with the lead, she just suddenly realised she had something to lose. There wasn't quite as much conviction in the forehand, and Pegula was able to get herself back on top of the court and back into the match. She's got a break back, and she could be about to get back on serve. It is break point. Dart serving 4-3, 30-40.
Brits everywhere. You look this afternoon. Liam Brody's in action on court number 3. Naomi's watching that one.
Yes, it's a set all, and it's 1-love Diego Schwartzman, the 12th seed in set number 3. Liam Brody has just fended off a break point back to deuce, but it's a little bit of a struggle. Schwartzman is looking very threatening, like he wants to start really stretching away here, so Brody's going to have to really dig his heels in as he trails 1-love in the third.
And Aaron's watching court 12 for us. What's happening, Aaron?
Yeah, Elena Rybakina leads 5-3 in this second set, fighting off a bunch of cross-court forehands from Bianca Andreescu. Rybakina is serving for the match now, Tony.
Cheers, Aaron. Gigi, I tell you, you'd be interested in fishing, tennis-wise. Virginia waders.
How long have you been waiting to say that?
It's just come to me now. This material just appears.
It's incredible how it just keeps
Kim's
appearing.
just given me the look.
I didn't even know you were sitting here.
And Laura didn't even acknowledge you. So
I know. I thought that was quite good, actually. Virginia waders.
I've heard better from you, Tony.
Oh, okay. Must try harder.
Keep trying.
Laura's in a mood today.
30-love on the Pliskova serve, looking for the tie. We've had the order of play for tomorrow, Friday. Centre court starts at 1:30. Diane Parry against Onjabeur. Novak Djokovic against Mirmir Kecmanovic, and then Cameron Norrie, the British number 1. He's on centre court, taking on Steve Johnson. 30-love, 5-6. Serve out wide is an ace, and on court number 1, Heather Watson against Kaya Juvan starts things off. Angelique Kerber against Elise Mertens. Then Oscar Otter, I only ever seem to hear about him at Wimbledon, takes on Carlos Alcaraz. Big serving from Pliskova means this set, and quite possibly this match, comes down to the second set tiebreak.
Well, we just saw the best serving game of Karolína Plíšková. So it's almost like she knows, okay, let me just turn it on and try to win this match in 2 sets, because we have a big moment coming up, and with the tiebreak in the second set.
If she serves like that in the tiebreak, then
yep, you're in
Katie's
trouble.
almost got no chance. You can't even see the ball.
It's Boulter with the first point. Rollbox behind her, reaches up, serves out wide, takes the first point. Says her regulation, come on, up to the box, little fist pump.
And when you feel like your opponent is in such a good rhythm with their serve, like she was in her last game, it just puts so much more pressure on your own serve, right? And especially in a tiebreak, you feel like, okay, every shot, every point is so important that, you know, you put more pressure on it. So a really good first point win from Katie here.
Boulter is bouncing on her toes. Such a contrast in just their movement around the court, in between points. It's almost like it's in slow motion, the service motion of Pliskova.
Yeah, it's all one kind of speed.
Second serve. Oh, it's a double fault, and she puts her hand against her. It's sort of almost like face palms, as if to say, got to be kidding me.
You can almost feel the double fault coming, and it's the way that she goes after the first serve. If that energy isn't there, then it continues on into the second, and that racket speed just continues to slow down.
Great play from Boulter, but great recovery from Pliskova. Pliskova with the backhand. The lob is up. It's over the head of Boulter. She's back in position. She plays the backhand. The rally continues. The forehand is crunched into the net from Karolína Plíšková. And it's a clean sweep of the first 3 points for Katie Boulter.
Again, the difference when Pliskova gets after the serve, 95 miles an hour, is huge compared to, you know, the 110 and 115s that she's been throwing down. And Katie now has that energy about her.
It's amazing how quickly it can change from one game.
Boulter with the ball. Swaying, Pliskova awaits the serve as she reaches up Boulter and serves out wide. It's blocked back, it sits up. Boulter has time, sets up, goes inside in. Pliskova is over the forehand, which will not find the court. 4-0, Boulter.
Definitely not the start that she was hoping for Karolína Plíšková.
Boulter bounces, waits, stops, now bounces the ball. These are high bounces coming up to waist height from Katie Boulter. Reaching up now, clean sweep of the first 4 points. First serves down the tee, the mid-court return. Overhits it from the mid-court of the forehand side and hands a point to Pliskova.
And we can just see Katie reacting after that point, just telling herself that she pulled up off the shot.
Yeah.
Sailed long, but she knows exactly why she's missed it, so I'm sure there'll be a correction on the next point.
Pliskova now with the balls. We're just hearing that Thanasi Kokkinakis and Nick Kyrgios, the Australian Open champions, have withdrawn.
Well, I think we could tell that from Nick's answer on the court. I don't understand that.
Short ball from Boulter off the serve. Into the corner goes Pliskova, and it is 4-2 Boulter. They haven't given an exact reason yet, but as you say, his answer to the question about doubles, he was like,
we'll see.
To put my body
I'm going
first.
to focus on my singles. And
Why even enter if you have no intention of following through with it? And he knew it was best of 5, and he was complaining about that before the tournament even started. So just tough on Kokkinakis, but I'm sure he knows what he signed up for.
Yeah. They have changed ends. They've nearly changed ends. Katie Boulter's about to get into position, and Pliskova is ready with the ball. She wants to serve, but Boulter doing sort of the kicking the legs out behind her, the knees up as she puts the towel in the box, and now she heads. She's looking at the racket strings. Now she lets Pliskova know she is ready. Pliskova 2-4 down, but a set-up serve down the tee into net, and things just get a little bit closer as Pliskova discards that spare ball, and they make their way down to Katie Boulter.
Well, this tiebreak is kind of looking a little bit like the way this set has gone, right? We've seen high level tennis, but also a lot of unforced errors, and this is what we've seen a little bit in this tiebreak too. So it's like a summary of what we've seen so far in the second set.
4-3, hour and 22 minutes on the clock. 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. Serve down the tee, the forehand placed back on the line from Boulter. Squash shot from Pliskova does not find the court, and Boulter moves to 5-3 in the second set tiebreak.
It's a huge backhand line from Katie, and Pliskova put her head down and actually ran after that one, chased it all the way down, got a racket on it, but couldn't quite get the control over the ball. Massive point for Katie after that run of points for Pliskova.
5-3, the second of her 2 points at this stage. Boulter ready to serve. Boulter goes out wide. Very deep first serve from Boulter, and it brings up set points.
6-3 Boulter.
108 out wide, exactly what you want to try and set up set point.
3 set points. Pliskova's waiting for the ball. She is ballless. Oh no, she has 1. And now they're all arriving. She will ask for another one. That's enough. She twiddles the 2, tucks 1 in the shorts on the left-hand side. Set points down, 3-6. Pliskova ready to serve. Serve goes down the tee, comes back through the middle of the court. The forehand goes deep from Pliskova, netted by Boulter, and that's the first of the 3 set points gone.
6-4 Boulter.
There was a chance on that one as well, wasn't there? Katie did a really nice return, and then again just pulling off the forehand.
Set point number 2, Pliskova, not happy with the ball toss. No apologies, just resets herself. 4-6 down. The first serve is good and deep, but it comes back. It's the backhand. It's into the net from Karolína Plíšková. She cannot believe it, but we will play on here on centre court. Katie Boulter says to the crowd, let me hear you. And now they do. They are on their feet for Katie Boulter because we play on. We have a 1-set shootout between Katie Boulter and last year's finalist Karolína Plíšková, Tony, because Boulter takes it on the tiebreak 7-6.
Great stuff. Thank you, Gigi. We'll be back here rapidly. Let's get the news, though, here on 5 Live. Here's Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A mother, stepfather and teenage boy have been sentenced to life in prison for murdering a 5-year-old boy in Bridgend County. Logan Mwangi's body was dumped in a river just a few hundred metres from his home in July last year. Detective Inspector Leanne Rees was the senior investigating officer.
The impact Logan's death has had and continues to have on all those who loved him and knew him within the local community is immeasurable. Knowing that justice has been done for Logan, I hope they can now begin to rebuild their lives and celebrate the joy that he gave them during the precious time they had with him.
Boris Johnson says Britain's defence spending will probably increase from 2% of GDP to 2.5% by the end of the decade. He's been speaking at the end of a NATO summit in Madrid, which was dominated by the war in Ukraine. And investigations found systemic weaknesses in the way some police forces in England and Wales deal with allegations of domestic abuse against their own officers and staff. The report says misconduct investigations aren't always carried out when they should be, and it says just 9% of allegations it looked at resulted in a criminal charge. The government's announced more compensation for staff who were wrongly convicted of taking money by the post office. More than 500 people will get a share of £19.5 million. That means they'll each get around £40,000. There's a warning that the shortfall of GPs in England could reach 10,000 by the end of the decade. The Health Foundation think tank says the government should take urgent action. Elaine Kelly's from the foundation and says retaining staff is vital. I'll bring you that clip later. And there's been a big rise in sales at Boots. They grew by 13.5% in the 3 months to May, all due to strong demand for beauty products.
Wimbledon 2022 with Gigi Salmon and Tony Livesey on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Welcome back to Centre Court. We're going to see if Katie Boulter can keep this momentum going after winning that second set. Before that, though, let's catch up on another Brit in action. Harriet Dart, Abigail Johnson's watching.
It's looking pretty good again for Harriet Dart. She needed the breathing room. She had the double break advantage against the world number 9, Jessica Pegula. Pegula started clawing her way back, but Harriet has managed to put her foot down, and here she is, 5-4, 40 love, triple set point against the number 8 seed here on court 2. Second day of second round action at Wimbledon. Here comes Dart with the serve into the forehand of Pegula. She's got the ball out in front. She'll send that cross court. Just catches the baseline, and there's the pumped fist and the cheer from Harriet Dart. She is halfway to a first ever top 10 victory. There's a way to go here on court 2, but very promising signs in that opening set from the home player, and this crowd are lapping it up.
Abigail, brilliant. Great, thanks for that. We've already got Cam Norrie and Heather Watson through to round 3. Harriet Dart going well. Katie Boulter with some momentum here. We'll be catching up on centre court action very shortly. Just time to tell you, though, or remind you that tonight here on 5 Live, one of the highlights of Wimbledon, this man is back.
You guys miss me at all?
I missed you so much.
Hello. Hello.
Do all these questions make you quite grumpy?
I'm getting a little irritable.
Are you dyeing your hair white so as not to fall foul of the strict Wimbledon dress code?
That's absolutely true. Where are you?
We are on Murray Mount.
Henman Hill?
Well,
how can you say that when Tim Henman's here? Next caller. John in the workshop. Workshop.
What is the craziest thing you've done to celebrate a win?
We can't say that on radio, can
I mean, it amazes me to say this, John, but you're almost sounding diplomatic.
I'm saying get a new damn coach.
There we go. That's better.
Wait a second. I'm hearing people say you cannot be serious in the background. It's outrageous. Bob in Bastille Dan?
Dan would like to know why John is dressed as a wannabe rapper.
Just casual here.
He's been in a suit for 10 days.
I've been in a suit for 10 days. Exactly. Tell that dumbass to give me a break.
It's great stuff. Tim Henman acts as his kind of wind-up merchant, doesn't he? I think John was trying to be reasonable there. Then Tim Henman was just getting stuck in. If you want to put a question to John, you can get them in now 85058 at BBC 5 Live Sport, or WhatsApp is 08085 909 693. Let's get back to the action then. Katie Boulter winning that tie-break, make it 1-all against Karolína Plíšková. Russell Fuller is now in the hot seat.
Yes, up against last year's runner-up and a former world number 1, the 6th seed at Wimbledon this year, Karolína Plíšková, and it is the higher-ranked player who has held serve in the opening game of the deciding set, Tony, holding to 15. Another double fault from her, though, her 7th of the match so far, so that's a little bit of a frailty, and it's now Katie Boulter at the far end, serving at 15 love, waiting for this backhand from Plíšková to land. She's on the attack here, Boulter, and Plíšková is reaching for a forehand, which she can't direct with any power at all. And Boulter looking good in this opening service game in this deciding set for a place in the 3rd round of Wimbledon, a stage of a Grand Slam, which Boulter has never been in before. Exciting times for her. Kim Clijsters and Laura Robson are watching this match on centre court. The roof is still closed. The rain has not materialised. That's long with the backhand from Plíšková. I suppose you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. We would like to see these matches played outdoors unless there's rain, but then again, it can be a 20-minute delay if the rain comes mid-match, and that slows the progress of the day down. Forehand drive volley from Boulter to hold to love and level this deciding set at 1-all.
It's been an hour and a half, though, and the rain hasn't come, and that's potentially an hour and a half that we could have had as an outdoor match. And it's still not raining, so I don't really know what the thought process was. Obviously, there was something on the radar, but
yeah, the radar was obviously incorrect.
Never.
Or slightly went in
Never
the
to be
direction
seen.
the weather forecasters weren't expecting. But yes, it does look like this match has unnecessarily been played under the roof. There's a backhand, well picked up by Plíšková. Fine service return by Boulter, who's looking super confident at the moment. The drop shot from Plíšková, Boulter down the line. Plíšková cross court with a lovely passing winner.
I feel like this is the first time so far in the match that both players are playing at a good level. So they definitely know when to turn it on.
Long may it continue.
Because it's crunch time now.
1 set all, 1 game all, 15-love on the Plíšková serve. She's won 3 grass court titles as she serves an ace there. 2 in Eastbourne and also the Nottingham title in 2016. Lost to Katie Boulter, as we've been saying, in Eastbourne last week and was a quarter-finalist in Berlin the week before that, where she lost to Coco Gauff. Chipped back by Boulter, but beyond the baseline.
40-love.
7 out of 8 first serves already in this set for Plíšková.
And 3 game points.
Game.
Only needs the 1. Awesome serving, another ace from Plíšková. And she holds very, very comfortably and leads by 2 games to 1, with the winner to play either Sara Sorribes Tormo, the 32nd seed from Spain, or Harmony Tan, who beat Serena Williams. They're out on court 17 today, and Tan has won the first set 6-3. 2 games all in the second set.
Well, Korpach won't be too happy about that. Harmony Tan clearly physically okay. Did you hear about this?
I read the social media post.
We'll come back to that in a moment. That is Harmony Tan's jilted doubles partner, but we have a set point in the Liam Brody match for Naomi.
Yeah, it's been converted, Russell, in this third set. I mean, we were expecting Schwartzman to go from strength to strength, but that was a 6-love set. Liam Brody not in it whatsoever. So now he trails the 12th seed by 2 sets to 1. And this is pretty much what happened last year. He won the first set and then it really ran away from him. So he's got to make some big changes if he's going to do something here in set number 4, Russell.
So Harmony Tan was preserving herself, wasn't she, after beating Serena Williams? Perhaps a victory she was not expecting and therefore pulled out of the doubles, and poor old Tamara Korpach was less than happy. These things happen quite regularly though, don't they, Kim, on tour?
They do, but it's definitely unfortunate for the player who's the one who gets kind of the negative side of it all, right? She was also very excited to play at Wimbledon for the first time and expressed her frustration and her anger on social media. So it looks like they're not going to be playing doubles together a lot, or in the near future.
1-2 down, Katie Boulter. She's going to have to continue serving very well. Plíšková's looking very keen at the start of this set, as is Boulter, and she's won the first point here as Plíšková goes long with a forehand, but absolutely cannot afford a drop in intensity.
You know what's happened in the past is when you hear a lot of the singles players who decide to play doubles because they want to have some extra matches, they tell their opponent, their doubles partner in advance, that look, if I get further into the tournament, in the singles tournament, singles is my priority, like we heard Nick Kyrgios say in his on-court interview. So I'm sure Nick and Kokkinakis, his doubles partner, would have spoken about that in the past. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to see any of those tweets from the guys.
Backhand from Plíšková. This is a ferocious rally. Great defence from the Czech player. Boulter now sliding a backhand down the line. Cross-court with the forehand goes Plíšková. Boulter on the run with a deep forehand. Backhand return from Plíšková, who now has more time to hit a backhand, and when she has more time, she's missed it. Far too long, and Boulter to 30-love on serve.
Plíšková missed the easiest shot of the rally there. It was actually great hitting from both players. A nice little mix-up with the slice from Katie Boulter when she changed it up line. I think that just forced Plíšková to come in a little bit as well as move sideways.
5 sets in the men's doubles at Wimbledon must be on very borrowed time now, though. A break on court 2, Abigail Johnson.
Yeah, and it comes in disappointing fashion for Harriet Dart. The tide has turned in this second set. Jessica Pegula leading 2-0. Now, the match really starts here for Harriet Dart. She ran with the momentum in the opening set, but it did get closer at the back end with the world number 9. And now Pegula is going to show her level and show Harriet Dart that she has to step up and win this match. There's a lot more for Dart to lose now. There's a lot more for her to think about. Things seem a little bit more forced, a little less free-flowing. So we're going to see mentally how the 25-year-old deals with this going forward. She's at a career high ranking of number 94. She's in great form, but Pegula is going to test her, serving now at 2-love.
A double fault there from Katie Boulter, but she has 40-15 on serve and trailing 1-2 in this deciding set. Up against last year's runner-up, Karolína Plíšková, and she has the possibility of creating a big upset here on centre court in the next half an hour on 5 Live. She's missed the first serve again. Second serve from her, backhand into the net from Plíšková, so we are all square at 2-all on centre court.
A good hold from Katie, and just so important in this next game that she makes a few returns. Yes, Plíšková, she has that big serve, but it can easily drop when she starts to feel pressure coming off the returner.
Plíšková serving, and that's a shanked backhand reply from Boulter, who says her goal is to be a top 30 player. That would be the first goal. That would see her seeded at Grand Slams. Got to the cusp of the world's top 80, working her way back now after injury at 118. Ace from Plíšková, catching the tee down the middle of this court. She's always had issues with fitness, and also in her teenage years, she had that viral illness, didn't she?
For a long time.
Which led to extreme fatigue, which was a problem even into her early 20s. Backhand from Plíšková down the centre of the court. The slice backhand from Britain's Katie Boulter from Leicester. Inside the baseline, hits her forehand away, very patient, waited for her moment, took it, and a rare point against the Plíšková serve in this deciding set.
And Katie loves the big stage as well. She loves being at these bigger events where she can play in front of a crowd and really get energized from the people around her. It's when she's at the challenges that I think she struggles a little bit more with motivation.
Long with the forehand, Boulter, who says she'd like to work in fashion or broadcasting when she's finished playing, just to give you advance warning. She's only 25. Let's hope she's out there for another 10 years or so.
Her brother does. He works semi in fashion, semi in sort of as an agent, a Hollywood agent.
Nice. Forehand cross-court from Plíšková. Forehand with too much air on that, so this game is still alive.
I can imagine that's hard, right? Most of these players that are in the main draw here will, you know, go to all the big tournaments and are in the, you know, at the highest level. But if you have to come from this, where you play on center court and you have the crowd supporting you all the time, and then you go back to playing smaller tournaments where, you know, there might be 5 people in the stands, can be hard.
Plíšková's missed a forehand, so deuce here, and let's go to court 1 and Alison Mitchell.
We're locked at 5-all here in the third set. It's Tsitsipas leading 2-love. That controversial moment at 3-all and deuce, middle of the second set, where Tsitsipas broke. And Jordan Thompson's taken a while to get over that. A line call, he wanted the point replayed, the umpire wouldn't. Tsitsipas 6-5 now in the third set, and by 2-love.
Big juice point here, the forehand pushed back by Katie Boulter. Down the line she goes with the backhand, and it's just a little bit too long. She was eyeing a break point.
Oh, and that was so close to being a break point. She went for the right shot line, just couldn't quite catch the back of the baseline, but I feel like this is Katie's chance here. Plíšková's energy has dropped again on the serve.
That was long, that first serve at 101 miles an hour. Here's the second serve. She has the advantage, though. Not for long, Plíšková. Double fault. Getting interesting, Kim.
Yeah, and it's almost like these are the things that Katie needs to see, right? Is like we see it from the commentary booth here, but when you see that her first serve has such low intensity, she needs to be on top of that baseline into the court.
Good forehand return by Boulter, but she's gone long with the backhand. A second opportunity at deuce to create the break point, but it's not gone her way.
Made the same mistake twice on the backhand there. Went for the cross-court one this time, but did the exact same thing, just pulling off it already in the recovery before she finishes the stroke.
Plíšková with a game point. Boulter with a fine forehand return. Forehand from Boulter, hit so powerfully. Well absorbed by Plíšková with the backhand. And Boulter just wide, going for the forehand winner. Hard to fault her approach in that particular point, but it is a hold of serve for Karolína Plíšková.
3-2. Final set.
Carlos Ramos tidying things up for us, Gigi.
Thank you very much, Russell. We have a result on court 12 with Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Elena Rybakina knocks out the 2019 US Open champion Bianca Andreescu here after a second set tie break. Rybakina classy in her response to the body serve of Andreescu, returned pretty much everything early on, taking the first set 6-4. Andreescu rallied back in the second, breaking her opponent, with Rybakina guilty of fluffing her lines as she served for the match. Gigi, Andreescu took it to tie break, but despite having the backing of the crowd here on court 12, couldn't prevail. Rybakina wins 6-4, 7-6, taking the tiebreak 7-5, and will face Qinwen Zheng in the third round.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Still to come here on centre court, Rafa Nadal will be followed by Coco Gauff, while on court 1 we await the world #1 Iga Świątek, and then Alex de Minaur will take on Jack Draper. So much action still to come with likes of Simona Halep and Denis Shapovalov also taking to the courts. But let's go to court. Well, Iga Świątek might be on sooner than I thought, because Alison Mitchell, we have match points.
We've got 3 of them here for Stefanos Tsitsipas. The world #5 is awaiting the serve from Jordan Thompson, who has really struggled to get over a line call and overruling. He wanted a point replayed middle of the second set, and that set Tsitsipas off with the break, and he motored along. We've had some gilt-edged tennis on this court, though, some fabulous points played, as Thompson then with a forehand over the net. That single-handed backhand from Tsitsipas, we've seen so much, but Tsitsipas nets. He's got 2 more chances here, though, Annabelle, to get the match. And it would be a meeting with Nick Kyrgios, which would be an absolute crackerjack.
Yeah, that really would be box office, wouldn't it? And I think Tsitsipas has really brought his level up from his first round here, and he's been very aggressive, all-out attack, and used the slice backhand so beautifully, and he's just got on top of his opponent mentally.
Thompson from behind the baseline with the backhand. Forehand now looks to go up the line. Tsitsipas is there with that single-handed backhand. He's played with so much flair. I think he just slipped at the back of the court, but he's still in the rally here. Tsitsipas, some slice with that backhand cross-court. Jordan Thompson is pushing him out wider, floats that one over the net. Thompson pushing him out wider still. He's made the sideline. He's saved a second match point.
Wow, that was living dangerously, wasn't it? And very brave to go after such a big strike. I mean, that was a fine margin there. If that had been out and missed, he'd have been out of the tournament, but really went for it, and it paid off.
The Australian adjusts his cap, which is perched backwards on his head. Dark head with a moustache, serves into the net. Tsitsipas at the far end with his white headband on, curly locks of hair poking out from beneath. Tsitsipas is 6-5 up, looking for the break that will give him the match in straight sets here, and a place in the third round against Kyrgios. Thompson down the centre with that second serve. Forehand brings Tsitsipas up to the baseline. He retreats a little deeper. Tsitsipas again with the forehand, pushing Thompson deeper now. Backhand from Tsitsipas. Jordan Thompson with the backhand going deep. That was really close to the baseline. Tsitsipas trying to push the sideline here, and he's gone long, Thompson. And Tsitsipas is through, raises his arms. We've seen some vintage tennis. The crowd get to their feet. It's been a tremendous, tremendous display. 7-5 in the third set, straight sets for Tsitsipas, and he sets up a meeting in the third round with Nick Kyrgios. Grass hasn't always been his friend, Annabelle. Lots of first-round exits. He's growing to love this surface.
He certainly is, and he's walking out, and he's even applauding the fans here who are all on their feet. I think they really, really engaged with this match. They enjoyed the tennis that he put out here, and I think an efficient performance. 2 hours, 4 minutes, had to work for it, but I think, came up trumps with some of the beautiful ball striking we saw. So just what he wanted. Bit tested, but got through.
Yep, well, Russell, he is through to the second round. He's only been there once before at Wimbledon, and I think he's got an eye on going a bit deeper this year. Tsitsipas through in 3 sets.
And mark that one on your card for Saturday. Nick Kyrgios against Stefanos Tsitsipas. Petra Kvitova against Paula Badosa will be another match on Saturday in the third round. Here on centre court, very much in the balance. 3 games all deciding set between last year's runner-up, the 6th seed Karolína Plíšková, and Britain's Katie Boulter, who's 118 in the world. 3 games all and 15 all. Kim Clijsters and Laura Robson are here. We're watching Plíšková serve now. Boulter holding to love in the last game. A backhand from Plíšková. The backhand down the line, just long from Boulter, which is such a shame because right now, Laura, the game that Plíšková played just now, she looked bored. She wanted to get off centre court. She was blazing away and pretty much handed the game on a plate to Boulter.
Well, it was so strange because Plíšková came out of the changeover. She was bouncing around. I thought, oh, here we go. She hits an ace there and then missed 4 forehands long in a row. 4 were returned errors, and then the first point of this game as well, the forehand sailed long and just looked so disinterested. And then all of a sudden she's back in it and it's 40-15.
Forehand return from Boulter is a good one. Picked up on the backhand by Plíšková, and that's long from Boulter. So a couple of mistakes at just the wrong moment there, and it gives Plíšková the initiative once again, even though we're still on serve with Plíšková leading by 4 games to 3. Kim, what do you make of what you've watched over the last few minutes?
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of read her a little bit, and it's so hard to get anything from her. You know, we see that she's, you know, showing some frustration towards her team. So she, you know, she's not feeling her greatest self out there, but it's also it also looks like she's not trying to get over that, right? It's just, she just kind of deals with it, and okay, I missed it, let's go to the next one, and I missed that one, and there's just really hard to read.
And if Katie, I think, had been able to make a couple more shots from love 15 in that previous service game from Plíšková, this could be an entirely different story, because it didn't look like she wanted to even dig deep, and she kind of held serve with it with a couple of big first serves, but there was a few errors there from Boulter where I thought, oh, it's just the wrong timing for those sort of errors, really. I mean,
when she got up from her chair, her team was clapping, motivating her, and she kind of gave them like a sarcastic thumbs up and walked away. So
there's going to be an interesting post-match chat either way.
Yeah, very.
3-4. Katie Boulter trailing but on serve in this deciding set, and this is where it's going to get very tough for her indeed. She's not used to being in these positions. She's not been in the third round of a Grand Slam before. She hits the backhand confidently, Boulter. Now the drop shot from her, which is too good for Plíšková, and immediately she turns round and celebrates with those in a crowded players box.
15 love.
Right, and this time Katie Boulter decided to hit a drop shot with the backhand. You know, we've seen her miss a few backhands where she was able to go for the winner. Decided to go for a surprise with a drop shot, and it worked.
Good serve down the middle, reach by Plíšková. Very short return, and that's very easy for Boulter. Plíšková had every reason to look disinterested there because the point was gone.
30 love.
She did win a title on the ITF World Tennis Tour in Grenoble in February. That was a $60,000 event, so one of the middle ranking events on that particular tour. And the first time she'd had a success like that for around about 4 years, but it's a world away from Wimbledon centre court and a place in the third round. Forehand cross court from Plíšková. Very smart, snappy play from the Czech player, and on the run, and almost ending up in the first row of the spectators. Boulter puts a forehand into the net.
I will say that challenger in Grenoble in Feb, it does tend to be one of the tougher ones, because everyone who loses early in Australia, who's all around that 80-100 ranking, they play it as the start of a bit of an indoor swing. Had some good wins that week.
Yeah, it was a big moment for her after all the injury problems that we have been detailing. Short return from Plíšková. Deep with a forehand Boulter. Now she should put this drive volley away. Plíšková with a backhand lob. The smash closes out the point. The smash from Katie Boulter. 2 game points for 4-all in the deciding set.
I'm just going by body language. The difference is huge between both players at the moment. And you would think, okay, this is, you know, the momentum is all on Katie Boulter's side, but Karolína Plíšková only needs one point almost to get back into it, and it's been so up and down. So she's not beaten yet.
The game is hers. The forehand is long from Plíšková. Well, as you say, Kim, she's looking extremely confident here. And we just don't quite know what sort of service game Karolína Plíšková will throw in here. She could serve two aces and two unreturnable serves, or she could just hit unforced error after unforced error. 4-all. Forehand reply from Boulter is a good one. Backhand from Boulter to the backhand of Plíšková. Down on one knee she plays that, but great depth from the Czech. Forehand from Plíšková. Backhand from Boulter down the line. What a winner!
Plíšková was waiting for the cross-court backhand from Katie there. He just waited that extra moment before she opened up the line. I think if you can get it a little bit shorter against Plíšková, she really doesn't like cutting the angle off when she's moving.
Forehand return from Boulter. What a return it was. She's got a short ball here for love 30.
Nice aggressive tennis from Katie Boulter, really taking it to her, trying to go for the wins here. She doesn't want to wait for Karolína Plíšková to take control.
Plíšková serves love 30 down and serves into the net.
I feel like this could potentially be a double.
Second serve Plíšková is good. Backhand Boulter, fine return. Forehand just brushes the net and goes over from Plíšková. Slice backhand approach from Boulter, unconvincing from Plíšková, but it's in, and Boulter's gone long with the backhand.
Oh, there's big chances here. I feel like if I think back to the match against Sabalenka last year, where Katie, at this moment of the match, just blinked a little bit, and that was all it took, and Sabalenka was all over it. But with the win last week against Plíšková, there's so much more belief here from Boulter.
15-30, good serve by Plíšková. Boulter's hit a good return. Her forehand is deep, Boulter. Plíšková deep also in reply. Backhand from Plíšková. Boulter with the backhand. Plíšková with the backhand down the centre. Boulter's backhand. Plíšková with the forehand cross-court. It's wide. These are break points for Katie Boulter to be a game away from the third round of Wimbledon.
15-40.
That was a great rally, great hitting from both girls. Very similar, right? They're both playing very flat, very hard. Maybe Katie Boulter sometimes putting a little bit more topspin on the ball.
Here's the first break point. It's an ace.
Too good. I mean, 111 down the tee.
And that's what when you come out against Karolína Plíšková, that's what you have to, like, your mindset has to be ready for this. Aces, some double faults, some mistakes, some great shots.
Here's the second break point. It's not an ace. The first serve into the net. Break point, Boulter, for a 5-4 lead in the deciding set. Plíšková to the backhand of Boulter. It's down the line, and Plíšková can't make the forehand. Reaching for it, groping for it in the dark, it seemed. Fine return from Katie Boulter, who marches smartly to the back of the court to pick up her towel. She's got 60 seconds to compose her thoughts. If she holds serve, she knocks out last year's runner-up, and she's into the third round of Wimbledon. Let's check in on another British player in action at the moment. It's Harriet Dart on court number 2, being watched by Abigail Johnson.
And she's got her back against the wall, Harriet Dart, serving to stay in the second set at 2-5. Jessica Pegula, the world number 9, looking ready to take this into a deciding set, looking to make her first third round at Wimbledon.
To court 3, and the latest on Liam Brodie from Naomi Cavaday.
Yeah, it's worse than having it back against the wall. Liam Brodie lost 11 games in a row to Diego Schwartzman. He just got one on the board, but it puts him at 3-1 down in the fourth after dropping the third set 6-love. So a mountain to climb for Liam Brodie here.
And here on centre on 5 Live, are we about to witness Katie Boulter's finest moment, Laura Robson? She's broken. She's a service hold away from knocking out last year's runner-up, Karolína Plíšková.
I feel nervous. I'm excited. I mean, when I saw the schedule, I saw it was going to be on centre. I thought Katie will love this. She'll love being out there. She'll love the atmosphere, and she's just feeling so good about her tennis. I don't want to jinx it, but good vibes for this game.
Here she goes, 4 points away from a famous victory. Lands a first serve into the net. Plíšková with the return.
That's always a good way to start, right? To win that first point. And then this very important, maybe, hopefully, potential last game.
15 love. Forehand return from Plíšková. Boulter with the forehand. Plíškova's backhand. Boulter with the backhand. Long.
Got to be careful with these backhands now. There's been quite a few errors, all going long. So she knows how to correct it. It's almost like what she was doing with the forehand earlier on in the match. She's managed to fix that side of the ground strokes.
15-all. She's landed 2 first serves so far in this all-important game, Boulter. And there's another one, and it's a fabulous one down the middle. Plíšková anticipating, but unable to make the return.
30-15.
2 of the 4 points chalked off. Boulter serving at 30-15. Another first serve. Backhand reply from Plíšková. Boulter cross-court with the forehand. Forehand cross-court from Boulter. The forehand from Plíšková. Boulter, oh no, she's got that horribly wrong. She was inside the baseline. She was eyeing up the forehand. It's gone long, and it's still very much in the balance here on centre court.
Karolína Plíšková completely ignoring her team. They're trying to motivate her to keep fighting, but she's not even giving them any eye contact at the moment.
Will it be match point or will it be break back point? Boulter at the far end. Lands another first serve. Block return from Plíšková is a good one. Down the line with a winner goes Boulter.
What a serve and what a forehand follow-up from Katie Boulter.
And that's the way to do it, right? That's perfect grass court tennis. Serve out wide, get your opponent to slice it and just give yourself a bigger target to hit the winner.
12 months ago, Karolína Plíšková was playing the Wimbledon final against Ash Barty. She's now match point down to Britain's Katie Boulter in the second round. Boulter serves. It's another fabulous serve. She's got a short return. The forehand cross-court. Plíšková with a forehand. Boulter with a volley!
Wow.
To create the biggest upset of the championship so far. Last year's runner-up is beaten on centre court in the second round by Katie Boulter, whose career has been hanging by a thread at times over the past 3 years because of injury problems. But she's fought her way back and she's taken her opportunity. It is the moment of her professional life and she is enjoying it now. Under the roof, on centre court, on this first Thursday of the championships. Very much seems to be taking it in her stride. She's won the decider by 6 games to 4. She's knocked out Karolína Plíšková, the 6th seed, twice a Grand Slam runner-up, a former world #1. She is leaving the court now, while Katie Boulter sits down and must be thinking, Gigi, wow, what a performance, what a win, what a moment for her.
Absolutely incredible from Katie Boulter. When you think she missed 3 months of the season, she missed the entirety of the clay court season due to injury. She came back on the grass. She got her first career top 10 win against Plíšková at Eastbourne. She's come out here on centre court, one of the biggest courts in world tennis, and she has beaten Plíšková once again. She's now zipped up her top, her red racket bag is slung over her shoulder, she's putting the rubbish in the bin, and she's heading towards Rishi Prasad with a huge smile on her face. I think she might even keep the bags. I think they're saying, pop the bags down, we might be here for a while. So the racket bag has gone down, and Katie Boulter has beaten Karolína Plíšková, and here she is speaking courtside to Rishi Prasad.
Katie, many congratulations. How much did you enjoy that?
Huh?
How much did you enjoy that?
Oh my God, I've got absolutely no words right now. I'm literally shaking. The crowd was unbelievable. So thank you so much for getting me through that.
No doubt this is a momentous occasion for you in front of the crowd here, but within this crowd there are some very special people that I know you looked up to during the match. What does that mean to you at this moment?
Oh God, I'm probably going to get emotional. My gran passed away 2 days ago, and I'd just like to dedicate that to her today.
Well, I'll just ask you one last question, Katie, because I don't want to push too much. But how do the words "you are through to the third round of a Grand Slam for the first time" sound?
Yeah. Honestly, it's a dream come true for me. I've got hopefully many more matches to play, and if I can have you guys behind me for those, then hopefully I can go a long way. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Katie Boulter.
Alicia Passad with the questions to Katie Boulter. The racket bag is on the shoulder. She wipes away a tear from under the right eye, and she twirls and waves to the crowd, and she'll sign some autographs as she leaves. And Laura Robson, so emotional. She's spoken in recent weeks. I remember her speaking in Eastbourne about there had been some illness in the family, and she wasn't ready to talk about things, but just that there's a lot going on, and just to let everyone know that her grandmother passed away 2 days ago, to come out here to play like this, and then Laura to dedicate the win to her grandma.
Oh, I'm buzzing. I mean, I think we all got a bit emotional then. I was looking up at her mum Sue and at her brother James, and also her granddad, who's Katie's favourite person in the world, and they were all just crying, and I was looking up and I was starting to cry. I was like, oh my God, it's all kicking off. But just that win for Katie would have meant so much to all of them after what they've gone through the last couple of months, and it's not just her gran who's been ill, her granddad's sort of gone in and out of bad health. So just the fact that he's been able to be here and to watch that performance is incredible.
Okay, it really is to channel everything that she's gone through and to come out here on centre court. You know what it's like to be out there on centre court. Yes, she had the crowd support behind her, but facing Karolína Plíšková, last year's finalist, on this court, and to play as she did to get this result.
Right, and she believed that she could do it. You could tell at the end when things started to get really close, and yeah, especially those two last points were incredible. You know, she stuck to what, you know, really good grass court tennis is, and just served well, really took it to her, and she won that match. It's not like Karolína Plíšková made the mistakes, but she won that match, and she went all out and went for the win, and that's, you know, a great example for, you know, any younger girls looking. Is this, you have to take it to your opponent, and don't wait for those mistakes, and that's what she did, and she deserved to win this at the end.
Well, she closed out with only first serves, didn't she? I mean, how brave is that? And it wasn't an easy matchup because Plíšková just doesn't give you much rhythm. So for Katie to come out there breaking and then holding to close out the match, I mean, it was just amazing tennis, and she saved the best for last.
And that match point was with a volley. You know, a couple of times we saw her being really aggressive in the match, but kind of just letting, you know, she had some opportunities to come into the net and just let it bounce, and on match point she just went all out for it and hit that nice forehand volley down the line, and yeah, so you know, the perfect timing to kind of a perfect rally.
There's lots of smiles on the centre court commentary box. Kim Clijsters, Laura Robson, Russell Fuller, thank you very much. Through to her first Grand Slam third round is Katie Boulter. She'll face the winner of the match between Harmony Tan, who defeated Serena Williams, or Sara Sorribes Tormo.